Yeah, sure. Well, actually, I'm currently very involved in open science because in Tilburg University we currently have a whole research group that is revolving around meta-science. So we're with 9 people now, and we're researching all kinds of topics that relate to open science. So topics about meta-analysis, topics about reproducibility, and things about reporting errors that I'm working on right now. So with this StatCheck program and project in particular, we're actually zooming in on a problem that seems very tiny, like rounding errors or people who report the wrong number somewhere, which seems very inconsequential. But yeah, considering that we found like half of psychology papers contain rounding errors and 1 in 8 contain errors that might even change the conclusion, we figured that it's a big enough problem to warrant spending our time on it. And to create a tool to very easily solve it. So that's what I really like about this problem, that it's so easily solvable, I believe. Yeah. I think the main use of StatCheck will probably lie in prevention of reporting errors. So I think it would be very useful if researchers check their own work before submitting it. It's basically like a spell check that way. But we're also in contact with several journals. For instance, Psychological Science is running a pilot study with StatCheck now to incorporate StatCheck in the peer review process. So it's also about preventing reporting errors from ending up in the literature, but here the responsibility lies more with the journals than with the authors themselves, because not everyone will know of it or have access to it or understand how it works. So here the journals sort of try to channel the use of this program, and I think that could be very useful. Well, so far I actually haven't encountered that many barriers because, sometimes I think that's really great. Sometimes I think it's also a sign that I've been working in my own little bubble where everyone is excited about open science and open research. But I think because we are very much trying to present these kind of tools and the kind of research that we do as sort of in a positive way, and as something you can use to improve your own research, as opposed to sort of fishing out people who did it wrong, because I don't think there's any use in that. And I think this positive approach really helps people to be open to new things and to try to improve their own work. There has been some discussion about these 50,000 StatCheck reports that were posted online, mainly because sometimes StatCheck had bugs in it, so then a flawed report was posted online. And of course, these reports were worded in a very careful way, like be sure that this is not a final result. This is just an automated check, so don't take it too seriously. But that did spark some discussion, mainly among German psychologists and mainly among professors. So it sort of, I'm not sure if I'm over-interpreting that, but it does seems as if the more established people were more reluctant to take on to this. But in the end, there are also very senior people who are actually very excited about this. So for instance, the editors at Psychological Science are very enthusiastic about this. So yeah, I think it's mainly personal, whether you like these things or not, probably. Well, not StatCheck per se, also because the undergrads don't know stats yet, so for them it's not very useful, but I do try to teach them or get them familiar with the concept that we are in this sort of this revolution in psychology where we decided, okay, maybe there is a reproducibility crisis, which is a bad thing. How could this have happened? How can we solve it? And how can we make our research better? And I think it's very important to instill that with the students when they're at the beginning of their scientific career. And also, even if they don't go on in science, it's important for them to realize that science is not always the truth, and it's something you need to look at with a very critical mind. So I do try to teach them that there's a lot going on, and they should be very critical about what they read. Yeah. I think what excites me the most is the fact that everything is so concrete right now. The problems that we were talking about have been known for over 50 years, like publication bias, problems with replication. But now we're in an era where people are actually trying to come up with very practical solutions, and in this positive way, sort of like we can understand that we have wrong incentives, that sort of punishing people for not doing correct research is not very useful, also because it's very difficult to make out what correct research is. But initiatives such as the Open Science Framework or structured replication efforts over several labs, those are things that are very positive and very concrete that will, I think, actually make a difference. And it's very exciting to be a part of something that might actually change the way we do science.
Yeah.